So this is Liam. I just read this scary thing and I'm going to share it to you. The topic today I want to introduce to you is not a crime case, not an accident, but as the title suggests, I will together with you uncover the secret veil about a strange house in Japan. Specifically, on October 12, 2020, on Japanese social media, there was a post. This person said that he knew someone, let us temporarily call him Mr. Y, when Mr. E had saved enough money to buy a house before finalizing the contract. Mr. Y discovered that the blueprint had something a bit strange, so he sent a photo of the design to an architect. Then the architect's reasoning became a very big question mark about the house with a strange, incomprehensible structure. It has hypotheses that must be said to be something not right and extremely terrifying. What does that house have? Why can a place to live cause fear for the homeowner about to move in? Let us start accompanying Kai right now. As you know, the cost of renting a house in Tokyo, Japan, is famously expensive to the point that many young workers here only dare to rent and live in an apartment only 9 square meters wide. That is how you understand the rental price already gives people a headache. Then the price to buy a house is even more staggeringly expensive. It is so expensive that an office worker here, if earning a salary of about 6 million yen a year, if wanting to buy a house in Tokyo, would have to not eat, not drink, not spend a single penny, save that money continuously for 13 years, and even then, when they can buy it, would only be an apartment. It sounds a bit long and also too difficult. Therefore, if Japanese people want to buy a house, they have to calculate 2 steps carefully. First, they have to bend their backs to borrow money to have their own house, then pay off the debt gradually. Second, they buy cheap houses to limit the debt as much as possible. A few years ago, around 2017, Mr. Y, a 30-year-old Japanese husband with an ordinary office job in Tokyo, had been nurturing the dream of buying a private house to build a family nest. He wanted to live in Tokyo, to make commuting to work convenient, and later daily life would also be easier. But with the prices here, he was still very hesitant, not daring to decide to buy. By September 2019, when he suddenly heard the news that his wife was pregnant with their first child, Mr. He thought that if he decided to buy a house, there was no need for sooner or later. Now was the time. The desire to buy a house surged, making Mr. Y determined to gather all the profits from small investments from before to go house hunting with near and far connections. He began the quest to find real estate information. Of course, among the criteria for finding a house, a reasonable price had to be prioritized first. After a short time, Mr. E quickly found a house in a good location. The price was also decent, just enough with the money. He had not to mention it was a landed house. For those who do not know, a landed house is a type of house that includes the plot of land on which the house is built. It has the potential for stable price appreciation over time, a safe real estate segment for long-term living. Both having a house and land, and it is land in Tokyo. It matched the money Mr. I had prepared. Everything was too perfect for Mr. Y's expectations. In addition, the house had 2 floors built in a quiet residential area near a train station, and there was also a park nearby, conditions that must be said to be extremely ideal for a family with a young child. So did Mr. Y buy it immediately at that time? Not yet, because being naturally cautious, Sir E and his wife immediately went to see the house and checked it thoroughly to see if there was any problem, why such a good house was sold so cheaply at first when they came here to check. The couple still did not see any issues. On the contrary, they first looked through the floor plan of the first floor. We can see that right between the kitchen and the living room, there is a mysterious space surrounded by 4 strange statues. The thing is, it is a sealed glass space. There is no door. It cannot be entered, nor can items be stored inside. So what was it built for? Mr. Y also found it puzzling and asked the real estate agent what this space was, but received the answer that they did not know. Although the agent explained that this sealed glass space does not cause any inconvenience when using the house. However, this could be the biggest asset Mr. Y would have, so Mr. Y could not shake off the uneasy feeling in his mind, wanting to resolve this issue. Mr. E began seeking advice from his acquaintances, and among them he was referred to Mr. Ka, an architect. After reviewing the house's floor plan, The architect speculated that perhaps initially the homeowner intended to create a storage space in this sealed glass area, a position where a door could be added. Then you could use it as a storage space. If the door opened from the bedroom, it could be a wardrobe. If opened from the kitchen, it could be a pantry. But it seems for some reason the homeowner changed their mind or could not install the door due to lack of money, ultimately creating this mysterious space. This speculation sounded reasonable enough, having heard a satisfactory explanation. So did Mr. Y finalize the purchase of the house. Still not yet, because at this time, after some inquiries through the real estate agent, he heard information about the first owner who built this house. Specifically, when the family of the owner who built this house moved out, people learned more about that family, specifically. It was a man also about 30 years old, living with his wife and a child. The largest room on the second floor plan was the one ultimately used as the child's room. Mr. He immediately told this story to the architect, as if to further ensure that everything in the house's design was fine. However, upon hearing this story, Architect Ka said something completely unexpected, that the strangest thing about this house is the room reserved for the child on the second floor. Music. First, looking at the second floor plan, we will see that to enter the child's room we have to climb the stairs from the first floor, pass through the hallway on the second floor. In this process, we have to go through a total of 3 doors. Clearly, this is a rather unusual way to arrange the path to the room considered the largest on the second floor. Is it necessary to design such an inconvenient path? Second, there is another strange thing. There are no windows in the child's room, no natural light from outside enters the room. Besides, usually, if a room has no windows, the bathroom should at least have a window. At least there should be a ventilation window. But looking closely, the bathroom in the child's room, apart from a toilet and a door, has nothing else. Looking at it overall, it is easy to notice that the child's room is surrounded by other spaces and completely sealed as if it were a solitary confinement cell in a prison. It feels like the child in this room would be completely cut off from the outside world. Why did they design their child's room this way, looking at the blueprint? Architect Ka cautiously hypothesized that perhaps it was because the parents did not want anyone to see their child third. When looking again, we see the parents' bedroom is located at the far left of the second floor. It has an open structure completely opposite to the child's room. If the child's room is blocked by doors, 2 consecutive doors, and has no windows, the parents' room has a very spacious balcony. There are many windows, 5 of them appearing in every corner. Bedroom, dressing room, bathroom, and so on. Not to mention, if you pay a little more attention, you will see the bedroom is also connected to the dressing room. There is no door separating these 2 rooms, so it is airy, as if it were a very large room. Fourth, there is a notable space on the second floor. Look, there is a bathtub room located separately on the right side of the second floor. Japan has long been known as a country with meticulous, careful, and perfectionist tendencies in Japan. The bathroom is built separately from the toilet, even in super small apartments, only about 20 square meters. Japanese people still want to separate these 2 rooms for cleanliness. But is it too strange that in this house, besides the bathroom and toilet being separated, the bathtub room is also a separate space, but located in a rather isolated corner on the right side? In addition, this bathtub room also has no windows, a condition exactly like the child's room. What was the homeowner's intention when building a bathtub room with such a strange sealed structure for privacy? We could pull the curtains. Is it simply because of preference? Putting the bathtub room aside, Architect Ka still could not stop being curious about the mysterious space on the first floor and wondered if it had any connection to the spaces on the second floor. So he tried overlaying the second floor plan onto the first floor plan, simulating the structure of the second and first floors vertically, and discovered something even stranger that he had not noticed at first. First, when trying to overlay the second floor plan. Onto the first floor, we see the empty, sealed glass space on the first floor that we wondered about. From the beginning is now located directly below the corner of 2 rooms on the second floor. The child's room and the bathtub room does. this explain any doubts? Suddenly, he remembered that he had seen a shelf in the corner of the child's room. Could it be that the shelf was a hallway used as a passage downward, forming a hollow space tube below, connecting the child's room with the bathtub room? The child could go from their room on the second floor down to the empty, sealed glass space on the first floor, then through a secret passage and go up to the bathtub room also on the second floor. But why make it so complicated? There must surely be some intention. Or was it to prevent the child from passing through the stairs on the second floor where there are windows? If this hypothesis is correct, it feels as if when the first owner built this house, they truly planned to completely not let the outside world know about the existence of the child. But another doubt arises here. If they wanted to hide their child so thoroughly, they could have built a bathroom in the child's bedroom, and that would suffice. Why did they choose such a difficult and cumbersome method? Or does their child have some special reason that they had to use the bathroom outside? Now, another hypothesis emerges. Architect Ka, after analyzing the house's floor plan, proposed a possibility. Though very terrifying, but also extremely logical. Before I present this hypothesis, let us take a moment to review the first floor plan of the house. First, there is a room on the first floor with a single bed used for guests. If there is a dedicated guest room, it seems that guests come and go in this house quite frequently. In addition, the dining room seems spacious for a Japanese house, so it seems the homeowner really enjoys meeting, eating, and drinking, a slightly creepy hypothesis. But clearly, according to this arrangement, the story could very likely have unfolded like this while guests were being invited to eat and drink heartily. The child was locked in the room on the second floor. Then, when the party was over, the host couple, as a natural matter, suggested that they have a guest room, so please stay here for the night. Then, following the guidance of the host couple, the guest goes up to the strange bathtub room on the second floor and enjoys a moment soaking in warm water. At that moment, the child from their room, which is the room with no windows, receives a signal from the parents, then quietly follows the secret passage from the shelf on the right, steps down to the empty sealed glass space on the first floor, then steps up to the bathtub room on the second floor. If a gruesome murder occurs there because of the way they were invited, they would have no ability to defend themselves due to the surprise, and of course, there would be no witnesses, the room having no windows. According to this formula, this house may not be an ordinary house, but a place for a hired killing organization. But even so, there is another question. After killing someone, how would they dispose of the body? Architect Ka pointed out another shelf, this one on the left also, in the child's room. It looked strange and unsettling. Once again, Mr. K tried overlaying the second floor design onto the first floor and discovered that the shelf on the left on the second floor was precisely aligned with the storage room on the first floor. At this point, it is too hard not to think that there is also a secret passage placed under that shelf. So in summary, there is an answer for disposing of the body. If a murder occurred in this house, the murder would be carried out in the bathtub room on the second floor. Then the victim's body would be moved down the secret passage on the first floor, then moved up to the shelf on the right on the second floor and brought into the child's room, continuing from the shelf on the left. On the second floor, they would bring the body down through another secret passage and stop the body. Transfer process at the storage room on the first floor. This storage room connects to the car garage, so if a car is prepared in advance, the victim's body only needs to be brought down to the storage room smoothly. Transferring the body to the car to dispose of it secretly would be an easy matter without anyone knowing. But if we think more carefully, there is actually a part not satisfactorily explained by this reasoning. The secret passage that architect Ka pointed out is only 45 centimeters wide. It is too narrow. Too narrow for an adult to move normally, but it is not impossible. The murderers could have dismembered the victim's body in the bathtub, then directed the child with a small body to go down that narrow passage to transport each piece of the body from the bathtub to the child's room on the second floor and continue from the child's room to the storage room on the first floor. If this were true, it would truly be too horrifying. But why did they choose such a complicated method? Clearly, if they only wanted to kill someone in this house without being seen. They just needed to pull the curtains. Architect Ka at this point pointed out that this is a psychological trick. Indeed, people often hide or conceal things when they are doing something they do not want anyone to see. But sometimes people crave to prove their innocence. So you see in this house, except for the room where the crime occurs, all other positions have many windows. Even the kitchen has 3 windows. That is a very open space, as if they wanted people to see it. And people would think it is hard for a murder to occur in a house so airy and with many windows like that. But another question arises: if they built a bathroom right above the storage room or the car garage, it would be easier to bring the body down. Then they would not need to use such a complicated method as having a child transport the body through their room. I believe why make it difficult for themselves like that. Once again, Architect Ka made a keen observation, stating that if the crime scene, that is the bathtub room, were too close to the main entrance, the perpetrator might feel psychological stress about the possibility of being exposed due to noise or something similar. Therefore, in the end, they had no choice but to build the bathtub room, meaning the crime scene in the corner of the upper floor, the farthest place from the street. Although this is only a hypothetical speculation surrounding the floor plan design of this house. And although Mr. Y and his wife really liked this house with such a strange structure, Mr. Y could not decide to live here. Ultimately, he gave up buying the house, and it is known that only a short time later, Mr. Y read in the news that a murder case had just occurred near the 2-story house he almost bought. Hello, this is Mr. Y speaking. Mr. Y, long time no see. Actually, I just talked to Architect Ka. It made me laugh a bit, but Mr. Ka said that the house actually, I have to apologize to you a bit about that. In the end, I decided not to buy that house. Why have you not heard any news this morning? Somehow it seems a dismembered body was found in the forest. Near that house I heard from others that the victim had visited and stayed there. I do not think it is related to the case, but it is a bit creepy, right? So I declined today. So what did Mr. Ka say? Nothing much. The conversation closed, but it seemed to open up many questions before that. Because of the mystery of this house, it seems that the hypotheses proposed were somewhat correct. Do you think? With a cheap house in the middle of the capital with such a creepy design and story, would you want to buy it?
Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, drop a comment below. And please like, share and subscribe my channel.